All right, well, here we are. So, hey everyone who is on the live part of this. If you're watching a replay, hello to you as well. So, let's see here. Make sure that we got our levels okay. And yeah, so sounds pretty good. All right. We're gonna go ahead today, and we're picking up from a couple weeks ago when we were working in Animate all last month. And what we're gonna do this month is just random stuff. It's December 1st, so happy December, everyone. Today we're going to design a promotional book render with Substance 3D Stager. And you can see Stager on my screen right here. So Substance 3D Stager works very similar to Adobe Dimension. And I think the quality is a lot better, and the options are, there are many more options to use with Stager than Dimension. So I tend to gravitate towards Stager. And thankfully, the Substance team has made Stager and Dimension available for M1 Max, which I'm running right here. Yeah, for the longest time they didn't have support, and it was such a pain, but now they do. So, if you've been waiting for that, the wait is definitely over. All right, so this all kind of started when I was, and here we are inside of Stager, right? So I am going to do a book render, and Stager does come with a couple of book models. And if we scroll down here, we can see we got a notebook, hardcover book, hardcover open, which, I don't know, let's have a look at that one, because it might be kind of fun to flip it over. So let's flip that over. I don't know. Yeah, that might be interesting to do. Huh. You know, we could put, yeah, I don't know. So we got, maybe we'll do two books. Maybe we'll do one that's kind of open and one that's closed when we go through this. I'm gonna remove that from now. So I'm gonna use these hardcover books, right? I'm not gonna use the notebooks. That doesn't make sense. And the book I'm doing this for, 2 days ago I finished all the pre-final edits and approvals for the second edition of my most recent book on Adobe Animate. It's Adobe Animate 2022 for creative professionals. And that's what I'm going to use as a cover. So I'm going to use this when I promote the book, basically. So here's the book right here inside of Photoshop. This is the approved cover for Adobe Animate 2022 for creative professionals, second edition. And yeah, I'm gonna map this onto our model. But before I do that, this is a PDF. So this is a PDF proof from the publisher. And what I'm gonna need to do is crop out the actual book parts and export this to a format that Stager is going to be able to map onto the book itself. So let's start out with this hardcover book right here. There we go. I'm use my orbit tool to just kind of orbit around. Look at that book. Very good. So what we want to do is we want to map that cover to the actual model of the book. And by the way, let me know how you're all doing today, this December morning. Well, it's morning for me anyway. Let me know if the audio is all good, if there's any problems. Yeah. Past few days I've been having a weird time of things with, you know, everything going on. It's been strange. But the semester is almost over for me. So yeah, I'm an Adobe featured education live streamer. And I work at a university as faculty, and I teach creative design software. So that's kind of my deal with all this. And there we go. Now we've got a selection inside of Photoshop. And I am going to crop everything to this. Actually, I'm using the... Why am I using this tool? I should be using the crop tool. There we go. So you see that? It's really nice that everything kind of moves from the selection that I just made into our cropping frame, which is really, really good. Hey, Tanis, how you doing? Happy December to you as well. Yeah, no snow in Boulder. No snow. So I'm in Thornton down here. And, yeah, no snow here either, of course. Boulder has a better chance of getting snow than Thornton does, most likely. Yeah, this is the second to last week of classes. So, yeah, my break was nice. It was good. I hope you had a nice one too. I hope all your classes are going well. All right, so I'm gonna crop this guy out. So with Photoshop, you can always delete crop pixels or not. And I always tell my students, don't delete your crop pixels because you might need them later, right? If you want to adjust your crop. But I'm actually gonna delete my crop pixels here because, you know, this isn't something I created. This is given to me by publishers, so, you know, who cares? All right, so let's go ahead and crop that guy out. Boop, 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 boop. And there we go. Look at that, that's a handsome cover. So, oh, you know, one thing I always try to do, I hate these things, and I know they're good for people who are just getting used to stuff like Photoshop, right? But these, like, these animated tooltips, right? They drive me nuts. So there's actually a way to turn these off. If you go to Photoshop and Preferences, and if you're on Windows, that's under Edit Preferences, right? But you go to your preferences either way. And, oops, shut up on my other screen. Yeah, I know. I think most everybody just wants the semester to be over. Yeah, we got like 1 week left, basically. I mean, after I teach my class this afternoon, you know, pretty much 1 week left, and then we're good. So for everybody out there, my university, CU Boulder in Boulder, Colorado, we end classes on December, I think it's the 9th, which is next Thursday. So, and then after that is finals, of course. But yeah, it's very, very close. And it's always weird with like Thanksgiving break because you've got like a week and a half sort of after the break's over. It's very strange. So you got this like weird kind of like truncated break. I wish the break was earlier, or we started earlier and then like, you know, ended class before the break or something. I don't know. I guess there's nothing you can do about it. All right, so let's find this here. So tools, is that where it is? There we go. So if you don't want to see those animated tooltips, they're called rich tooltips. You can turn that off from right there. So I haven't done that inside of Photoshop 2022 yet, but there we go. Now we're not going to see those anymore. So if I hover over any of these guys here, yeah, we just get the normal tooltips, which is nice. And I like these because they tell you like the keyboard shortcut for stuff. So we got like W for the object selection tool. And by the way, if you haven't played with the object selection tool inside of Photoshop 2022 yet, it is like amazing, the stuff that it can do. It automatically finds things in your photos to allow you to select them. So I've got a couple of additional images here that I grabbed from Adobe stock to use as a backdrop for this. This one here, I like it. I like dark things, and I like this one, but it's a little too bland, I think. This one's kind of nice too. It's very rustic looking, and I think I'm gonna use that one as the backdrop for my my stuff here. So how's everybody else doing on the stream here? It's so weird. It's like a morning, but it doesn't seem like morning. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like nighttime to me. Like time gets real weird lately. Ooh, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and export this. So I'm gonna choose File, Export, and I'm gonna export this. A PNG is gonna be fine. Let's go ahead and export it as a PNG. I'm gonna export this just to my downloads. Super simple. We'll go back to Stager here. And there's a number of things we can do here, right? The next step, maybe we want to add some materials to this, or we could always apply the decal first and add materials later. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add my decal first because we've already got it set up here. So I'm gonna select my object, hardcover book, and if we look down here, this is a model that has a number of different things attributed to it. So we have a seal mesh, which looks like here, it's just like the little bits and pieces, right, in the binding. We've got the binding mesh, which is right there, the cover mesh, and then the page mesh. So I think we want cover mesh for this, right? So I'm gonna choose my cover mesh object, and we got our quick actions right here. I'm gonna place image on model. And, well, geez. Let's see. Where did I export that to? My downloads, right? There we go. Open that up. Ooh, look at that. It's not very good. So we're gonna change this a bit. Oops. Grab that graphic right there. So this little guy up here, this round thing, lets you rotate in Stager. Woo! So I'm gonna rotate negative 30 degrees. And then we're gonna go ahead and scale that up. Look at how pretty that is. Oops. Hey, calm down. So I've noticed this with Stager, and I've never noticed it with like dimension stuff. It's like the rotation gets kind of funky sometimes. As you're moving it across the model. So you gotta make adjustments as you go. And we may need to adjust as well. Look at that, it's so weird how it does that. I don't know why it does that exactly, but there we go. And as you can see down here, we do have the ability to make additional adjustments to some of this stuff, right? So one thing I want to do here, let's choose the entire book so I can rotate this a bit. What we want to do is make sure that the book is the right, no, come here. Ooh, it's getting kind of, we want to make sure that the book along the spine is correct, right? So on the spine, you have a certain amount of the graphic. And if we look here, you can see that portion of the book is like right there, right? That's the spine. So we want to make sure that the spine actually works with the book, with the model. So to do that, we should pay attention to the spine. You can see there, it is not matching very well. And this is probably going to be the most difficult part of the process that I'm going through right now, is you know, placing this graphic correctly. And once it's placed, we're going to have to... Yeah. Okay, well that's looking okay. So obviously the book needs to be made a little thinner, right? It's a little big right now. So to do that, we can scale along the y-axis. Look at that, make it real thin. Here it goes. And I mean, this really, oops, I made it bigger. Really the only thing that, undo. The only thing that we need to really take stock in here as we go through is the front, right? So most of the time, you're going to want to see the front of the book, the front of the cover. So in terms of the back, we don't care all that much. I mean, here's the front. Here's the back, right? So, I don't know. It's okay. Oops. No, don't want to do that. There we go. So we want to make sure there's no distortion here. But we're doing pretty good. It's working out. Yikes. See, that's so strange how it does that. It sometimes helps just to make it a little bigger than it actually is. And then shift it. And you can always fix it by rotating again. And I kind of wonder if this has something to do with, like I'm using a trackpad here, right? So just one of these trackpads like that. So it's not very precise, and I do wonder if it's something to do with that. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is all messed up now. Hey. So like I said, this is probably going to be the most... Let's untick that magnet. Maybe that'll help things out. Yeah, there we go. Well, no, that still looks crappy. Jeez. Come on, man. That's pretty good. Now, if we use the orbit tool, we can orbit around this, right? Have a look here. And it's not perfect, right? But it depends on exactly, you know, how, oops, I really zoomed in there, how perfect you want this to be. We can see that we've got this much book here in the actual book. And here we've got some extra space. So let's go ahead and see if we can't take that down a little bit. Well, that's not going to help us very much. You can see it's distorting what we've got going on here. But that looks really good. So if we look at it like that, pretty nice. I think I'm gonna just keep the decal like it is for now, because it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead. You know, something here. We've got our ray tracing up here. So one of the things I noticed, the last release of Stager, they moved ray tracing back over to the right. So ray tracing used to be over here, which was confusing for Dimension users. Because for people who are used to using Dimension, the render preview, which is equivalent to ray tracing, would always be over here. And ray tracing on Stager was over here. It was a little weird. So I'm glad they moved that over here. So let's have a look at what this looks like with ray tracing. Pretty cool. It looks like a real book. Look at that. All right. So obviously there's some additional stuff we could do here, right? We need to add some materials for the pages. We need to add materials for the cover too, because really, like, if something's peek through, like at the bottom and everything, we want to add some stuff to that. So let's go over to our materials here. And let's add some stuff. Sometimes it's easier to see exactly what this is if you toggle list view from grid view. And hey, anyone who's joined since I last gave everybody a shout, please do let me know how you're doing and what you're up to inside of the chat here, because I like to hear from people on my streams. This should be a community-focused stream. Let's see. Oh, goodness. There's paper. I guess it's paper, right? Oh, man. Oh, I've got so much stuff going on in my head right now. Paper pattern. Ooh, paper pattern. Ooh, that's pretty good. Look at that. How's that look with ray tracing? Oh, that looks pretty solid. See, the only thing here is, like, the book isn't actually being printed as a hardcover book, but they don't have a soft cover book model inside of Stager. It looks pretty nice though, as a hardcover. All right, so let's go ahead and grab the pages here and just put a paper texture on them. Ew, what the hell? That looks terrible. Wow. Check it with ray tracing. See, I mean, that looks better, right? Yeah. It looks like garbage until you turn on ray tracing. It looks like oatmeal or something, you know? This is fun stuff. I really like working with Stager or Dimension. I think they're both great applications. I disagree with some of the decisions that Adobe has made around these applications, but in terms of the apps themselves, they're great pieces of software. Very accessible. I think this book is pretty much done, but I want to add paper pattern to our binding mesh. Oh, interesting. Huh. I don't really see a difference, actually. And let's see, seal mesh. That's that little thing on the side. I'm just gonna put paper pattern on there too. That's gonna work pretty good. Man, I tell ya. It's been quite a year. Almost 2 years now, right? But things are better. And actually, I've got a lot of stuff lined up for the next couple months, which is really nice. What is this weird ass thing? Look at that. What is that? Yeah, you turn on ray tracing, it goes away. Perfect. Man, I am liking this book a lot. Look at that. You know what I should do? Yes, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and select the book, and I want to use this in Aero at some point as a augmented reality. I want to place my book in aerospace. So I'm gonna choose File, Export. I'm gonna export this selected model for Aero. So if you don't know about Aero, Aero is an augmented reality application that Adobe has. And you can see here, your file will be converted for use in augmented reality, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna export that. Book 2022. Save to my Creative Cloud Sync library. Then I'll be able to open it up on my phone or my iPad or whatever and work it into Aero. So maybe that's a good follow-up to, well, I don't know. It's kind of weird doing like augmented reality, right? Well, we could use the beta. I don't know. Yeah. That's not a great idea, but I do want to use it. So there we go. All right, so we've got our book. It's done. Woo! Oops. There's our little book right there. I don't know what the heck this thing is. It's probably from my environment lights. So if you look at environment here, you can see we've got some lights based on this here. It might be caused by something like that. Right on. So let's go ahead and look at adding, pop back over to Photoshop again. We're gonna add in this image and place the book. Let's do it. So in my environment, Now, things differ somewhat from Dimension and Stager, and I am still getting used to those differences. But let's see if we can manage here. Let's see if dropping in that Adobe stock is gonna do it. Oh, it did. Look at that. Amazing. And it's created a camera for me too. Isn't that nice? So that's a difference too between Dimension and Stager, is that Dimension creates a camera automatically as soon as you create a project. Dimension, you have to manually create a camera, or it looks like when you drop an image in, it'll create a camera automatically, which is awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and match image right here. This is little Adobe Sensei magic, right? So we can set the camera output size to match the image aspect ratio or the image size. We can create different lights, keep it on abstract, and let's hit OK. See what happens. Well, that's awful. Yeah, it has added some lights to it, so backlight, fill light, key lights, and so forth. Sadly, it has not changed my ground plane here, which usually it does. So I guess we gotta do that kind of the old-fashioned way here, huh? And the best way to do it was something like this. You can see these lines here. We are going through and just trying to align them. And they don't have to be perfect, right? Perfection is not what we're going for at all. We're looking for something close to perfection. And that's pretty close right there. All right, cool. So, oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and adjust our book. Oopsie doopsie. Don't want to screw that up. That's really interesting. Look at that. I'm actually dipping into the ground plane there, which isn't good. Let's fix that. I tell you, 3D is strange for sure. But we are managing. make sure to make the book big enough as well. That's too big. That's ridiculous. Oh, jeez. Calm down. By the way, I also really enjoyed these little gizmos for manipulating the models that we're using. Oh, this shadow is weird. Let me see what this looks like with ray tracing on. Oh, that's much better. It's looking pretty good. You know, I can turn off the ground plane too. You can turn off the visibility there. Where is it? Not there. It's somewhere. Again, still getting used to Stager over Dimension. Oh, wow, that's ugly. Holy moly. Okay, so let's see here. Lights. Well, that didn't seem to do much of anything, did it? It's looking pretty good. Looks like there's a light like right behind there, which is driving me a little nuts. Oh, Stager. Oh, that's not cool. I'm actually getting very tired of reporting Stager bugs. So hey, everybody, intermission. I just restarted Stager. Oh, there we go. Oh, hello. Adobe, what are you doing? Let's give this another shot. My goodness. So maybe I should kind of rotate that a bit, like, well, I don't know. All right, well, let's go ahead and render this thing. I'm gonna go to my render workspace. And what do we want to have happen here? Preset high. That sounds fine. Look at this. Look at this garbage. What is this, Adobe? You all see this here? My mouse is just causing like UI fragmentation inside of this area of, God. Okay, guys. Anyway, let's go ahead and render this. Render my camera here. Resolution 72 pixels per inch. Are you kidding me? No, 300 pixels per inch. Let's export as a PNG. I don't need it as a PSD file. Put it on the desktop. Sure, why not? Go ahead and render. Oh boy. Look at that, rendering out real nice. Actually, I probably should have done it as a PSD. Poor network connection. Are you kidding me? Adobe's giving me junk. Behance is giving me junk. Actually, there was somebody from Comcast that I saw working in the close to my neighborhood. So nice. I just got a message that I am approved to record for from my updates to my LinkedIn Learning courses for Adobe Animate 2022. So perfect. All right, so obviously, I can see from the preview here that I'm getting a little bit sketchy in terms of the video. Actually, it might be a little better now. But for a bit, I think what was happening was Stager rendering this was causing some issues with OBS and my stream. But it looks okay now. And gosh, it's gonna take 10 minutes to render this, right? Which is a lot. So I probably will not stick around for 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna end the stream and we can all go our own way. But I'll put this up on Behance after the stream is over, after it renders. And gosh, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that isn't quite. Looks a little wider here than it does here. I'm not sure if I rotated that enough. Yeah. I might cancel this. Kills me to do it, but cancel. There's no sense in rendering it out if it's not perfect. Hey Stager, are you gonna come back? Well, I guess Stager's done for. It just can't handle what I'm doing. Look at that. It's what a piece of junk. All right, well, hey everyone. It looks like my stream is dead. And Stager's dead. everything's dead, so I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. See you all later. I have to force quit Stager and see what the heck's going on here. And yeah. Well, my stream looks really strong now. I just had 7,000 kilobits per second reported by OBS, so I don't know why there would be a problem. It looks like I'm frozen though. All right. Thanks everyone. We are broken.